Thanks for choosing us. My name is Etoma Edu.
We're always here to serve you the information that you need every morning. It's a Thursday morning and we're here again. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, good morning, Nigeria. As always, right to wake you up the right way. The table is set for all the conversations. The name is Ria Abdul. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Ria. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah,
it's, we're just having 2:1.
And I'll tell you something. I was looking at my outfit. I'm like, I'm in a suit and tie. Like,
yeah. Nice.
The only difference is that your hair is longer.
We all look alike.
All right, then. Today we'll be talking about so many things, especially looking at asset recovery, money, illicit funds, financial flows that are moving out of the country, and what the EFCC, the FIRS, the customs, etc., are also bringing on the table to ensure that they fight illicit financial flows. Also in Abuja, where our co-anchors will also be talking about retirement savings, which is Federal Housing Authority mortgage reacting to the alleged blacklisting by PENCOM. And afterwards, we'll also be looking at what is trending in the country with Olamide's Trending Now. But let's start off with the federal government, which has closed down more than 13 million social media accounts for offensive content and violations of the Code of Practice. This development was announced in a joint code of practice by the Nigerian Communications Commission, the National Information Technology Development Agency, and the National Broadcasting Commission. Director of Corporate Commissions and Media Relations of NITDA, Hadiza Umar, mentioned that more than 420,000 contents were removed and re-uploaded following appeals by users. She explained that the submission of these reports mark a significant step towards fostering a safer and responsible digital environment for Nigerian users. NITDA also emphasized that building a safer digital space requires sustained collaboration and engagement among all key players. And then people will be wondering exactly what the Code of Practice is all about, because there's no certain one-size-fits-all, but they have a general overview or general, let's say maybe like a blanket or a code of conduct, which is protecting fundamental rights, combating online harms, ensure compliance with Nigerian laws, promote a sustainable digital economy, and then content moderation, user accountability, and what have you. But the question there is, people will be saying that, yeah, if you look at Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which states that we should have the, now paraphrasing, to seek, hold, impart information without any frontier, without interference, regardless of frontiers, if exactly that is what it's even talking about. They're saying that why should our contents, our communications be moderated by the government? Does it not amount to freedom of expression or gagging of the press? What's a view?
Okay, Nigeria is in a peculiar situation right now, and when a country is in the situation that Nigeria is, you really have to be careful of what you allow for public consumption, especially when it comes to the mass media. And social media is, how do I call it? Citizens, journalists platforms where things are not confirmed and they are put right there. However, there are people that might sound right when they kick against a move like this by the federal government. I keep saying that for everything that comes up, there's always a right hand and a left hand. All right. In the internet, we have the dark web, for example, where a whole lot of things happen. In Nigeria, when you look at our social media, there was a time I was wondering if we're not creative anymore, if Nigerians are not creative anymore, because you just see girls that are half naked dancing, and I said, so why did you post it?
What's the reason?
What's the reason posting things like that? Personally, I'm in support of it. There are some things that shouldn't be on social media, because no matter how you try, that is where our children are getting information from.
Maria, if you look at it, one thing is people want to express themselves. They want to put it as they see it. Even though they can't do it via the mainstream media, they feel that, yes, there is a proliferation of the mass media and they have their phones in their hands, so they can also publish whatever it is that they feel, regardless of frontiers, regardless of whether, regardless of whose ox is God, so to speak.
But you see, the thing I always say, social media is free. And when something is free for all, it's very difficult to monitor it. And Ibrahim, to be honest with you, some things we see on social media are not even supposed to make it to social media. When I saw this news, I was quite excited because we've spoken about the regulation of social media so many times on this table. We've had conversations about it. You know, oftentimes you see that social media either breaks or, you know, makes someone. I know people that have gone into depression from bullies on social media. I know people that have even, you know, I know relations that will say that somebody took their life because of bullies from social media. I totally agree with it. And also offensive things that we see on social media. Etoma just mentioned one. We see more than that. Let's talk about fake news. Somebody will break a news that is not even true. Now, we speak about the fact that people are on social media, children are on social media. You know, sometimes you say, oh, don't give your child a phone. But the little moment they take a phone, you don't even know what they're checking because these things are just out there free like that. So, but when you bring something like this, people will definitely, you know, kick against it. Some like it, some will kick against it. But if you ask me, I think it's high time. We've spoken about regulation of social media, and I think it's high time we get to see all those people that put things that are not true, all those harmful comments, and all those bullies, especially, you know, I think it's time for them to be regulated.
But then if you look at this NITDA is actually under, you know, currently run by an agency, but then there is an administration which is holding sway, which is the All Progressives Congress. So anything that is done, whether to sanitize the society, the opposition will always find a fault. They will say, yes, this is targeted at them, and then they do not want them to probably one way or the other expose whatever things that they are doing on the social media. How do you think transparency can also be introduced to ensure that, yes, whatever it is that we have done is for the betterment of the society, the sanity of everyone in Nigeria and abroad?
That would be a little bit difficult because just like social media, you can't control what politicians think or feel. They will politicize anything that is catching the attention of a good number of the population. And since they are opposition, theirs is to say, if you say good morning now, no, it's not 7 a.m. yet.
Even in the day, it is broad daylight.
Even it's broad daylight, you know. So it boils down to our personal convictions and maturity. You know, there are some things you shouldn't lend your voice to because you will be bringing your reputation down. So politicians should try and imbibe that, that whether they are in opposition or they are not in opposition, they should be able to commend what is good, no matter who does it, and should be able to condemn what is bad, no matter who does it.
And
Ria, as you come in,
just
you know,
to add to what Etoma is saying, I strongly believe that if it's not regulated, it's going to be a problem. Because let me tell you something. It says 58.9 million offensive content on social media. 58.9 million. That is quite...
That's way too high.
That's a small figure.
Especially when you look at the build-up to 2023 general election. The president talked about, Bola Ahmed Tinubu said that he decided not to go to social media because they have abused the hell out of him. That's the way he said it. And some of these abuse are actually false news. They are fake stories. They are fake, you know, phantom information about Bola Ahmed Tinubu and some other persons that they feel that they are not in support of. Where we see that, how do we draw the line between freedom of information, freedom of speech, freedom of association, etc.? Because is it Indiami, former president of Uganda, that said there is freedom of expression, but there is no there's still freedom of speech, but it cannot guarantee freedom after speech. You know, so how do we ensure that, yes, whatever it is that we are doing, it's in line? Whose responsibility should it be first? Parents, government, or even yourself?
I'll start with myself because I tell people something. As journalists, we have a key role. You should not be the first to break the news, but the first to break the right news. But oftentimes, we ourselves are the problem because you see something happen immediately because you want to be the first person to break the news, you put it out. And at the end of the day, that's not true. So when we talk about that, there are so many things that need to be looked at in that. It starts with us as well. And also, I remember the president has said, you know, when people put things out for about him, as long as they are true, if you can criticize him, he's not saying don't criticize him as long as what you're saying is true. But oftentimes, we've seen that people do not even trust. Trust me, Etoma, when I see news on social media right now, I never take it. I take it with a pinch of salt. I'll go and check other sources to be sure because we see a lot of blogs breaking news that is not true, damaging the images of so many people. So when I see bad news about anybody on social media, I do not just take. I would do my research, watch TV, check if it's true or not. And these things are posted for clickbait. Everybody wants to post order so that people will come to your page. But then we forget the essence of the lives that you are damaging. So I think that this is fantastic. I think it's high time. Although a lot of people do not agree with with it. They'll say, oh, freedom after speech, freedom after speech. But at the end of the day, we keep saying freedom after speech. That's not a guarantee why you should make, false statements or false claims about a person.
So especially, when you saw a video of, still talking about the president and some other, politicians, so whose picture has been, put on social media. There was one that depicted the president in ICU, saying that he's gasping for, life. But, there are some countries you cannot even do something like this. For instance, China, you can't just go online and post nonsense. Even Kenya in Africa, you dare not say anything wrong about the president. And we are not making this about the president. We are making this about individuals, because by the time you defame anyone, you paint them in bad light. Even when you come back to apologize that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, I didn't get information right, that's why I posted it, but I'm sorry, I'm taking it back. Know that 1,000,001 persons will run with that information, and they will never retract it.
Ibrahim,
and they'll be used against
some people will see a headline and they run with it. They do not do research, and I don't blame them. Probably they're not journalists. But
that's another problem about framing.
I'm saying something as even a human being. When you see something, you should not just run with it. You need to do. You need to be sure, even if you're not a journalist, because you see something, you run with it, and you now go and start spreading the false information. You tell your uncle, you tell your brother, you tell your sister. That's how you see the fake news spreading all around.
Well, social media users should know that they are the last gatekeepers.
That's right.
And whatever they
are the
post,
first and last.
In fact, they're the only gatekeeper
in front of them.
So it amounts to level of discipline. Before you post, ask yourself some questions.
Exactly. Very important.
How will this affect the next person? Is this the kind of content I want to
be associated with?
Is this the image I want to build of myself? We live in a country where a whole lot of people do not understand the importance of building a solid image for yourself. They just, anything that comes, that's what they put on air. It is unfortunate, and I am so happy that we have started regulating social media.
It's very good.
By the time it continues for a while, people will think before putting the camera.
And then it has become that some blogs right now, you do not even, there's some news platforms that when I see news, I don't believe it. Because over time, you have made sure that you've put your image in the mud, that when people see news from you, they know it's not true. At the end of the day, you got the clickbait, but you lost the integrity. So we need to really work on that.
Especially with the US now coming up with, if you want to apply for visa,
5 years,
you must
social media record.
Social media record, 5 years. Well, this